Okay, scrappers, yeah, just wanted to do a video on melting copper wire, but this is the braided tinned coated copper wire. As you can see, I've built up quite a pile here, and all of this, or most of it, is from old CRT TVs. It's the strapping that they use, and basically it's pure copper wire, and it's just got tin coating to make it a little bit more stronger. Now here I've got an old CRT TV that I've just opened up, and you'll see here the tinned braided wire. It's just strapping that they use around every TV. Sometimes, you know, it's thin, it's sometimes it can be, you get a lot of it, it can be really thick. In this case it's just string tied, but a lot of times it's also the wire running right to the bolts. So yeah, so I just wanted to do a bit of an experiment. Someone else also mentioned about tinned copper, so I'm just going to melt some of this down into in the furnace and see what we end up with. Okay, well, I've weighed out myself 1 kilo, just over 1 kilo, so in case we lose a little bit through the melt. So I want to try and get at least 1 kilo bar, if not a little bit more. So, alright, well, I'll just stuff this into a crucible, and we'll, it's certainly, there's quite a lot because it's just wire, so it's not all going to fit into this crucible all at once. So I'm going to have to do the same with the irregular copper wire. Is once it starts melting down, I'll just keep adding a little bit to it. Okay, well, I've filled it up as much as I could. It's very spongy, so you can't get that much. I got just under half a kilo in there, so as I go, I'll just keep adding a little bit as once it's melted. I'll add a little bit more borax to the top. I've been adding borax as I've been filling it, so it's all mixed through. Just a bit more on the top, and that should keep us going. Alright, go to the crucible, the furnace. Drop her in. Okay, and we'll start this melting process. We'll just set the temperature, and so once it starts melting, I'll keep adding more, and we'll see what we get at the end of it. Hopefully we've got a 1 kilogram ingot, and we'll see how it looks with this tinned copper. Okay, well, just about to add my last piece of tinned copper wire. I'll just open her up. We've got it at temperature at 1161, which is my setting. So it fluctuates. It's at 1164 at the moment. That's Celsius, so that's a good, that's above copper melt, but we want a little bit warmer than copper melt, because the warmer it is, the better it pours. So I'll just add this last piece. Flames up a little bit, it'll smoke for a few seconds, and that'll be it. We'll be ready for the pour. I'll just put the mold just on top for the last few minutes, just so it starts to warm up, and then I'll heat it up with the flame gun. Okay, let's get this party started. Ready for the big pour. Just give the mold a nice little warm up. All right, let's go. Whew. Very nice heat. Can turn that off. Alrighty guys, let's go for the tin copper pour. And hopefully we get ourselves close to a kilo. Wow, look at that. Beautiful. Here we go. Bit of rubbish down the bottom, but not too bad. And again, if you want your crucible to last longer, don't leave it outside to cool down. Put it back into the furnace and let it cool down very, very slowly. You'll just get more value out of it. But if you can see the actual mold itself, you can see that it's very red, even in, just here. That's how hot, we've got here. So it's yeah, lost a little bit of slag, and there's still a little bit inside the crucible. It's just, but I'm pretty sure it would be just what stuck with the borax, so it will just be impurities in that. So we'll see how we go. Hopefully we've got close to a kilo here pour, but this one being, if I go around from this tinned copper wire, so it's obviously a little bit different than pure copper wire that we get from most eWaste, but still, it's still copper and tin, so, and it's still got a value that's pretty close to copper anyway. It's probably less, about not even 10%. So we'll just let this cool down. Okay, let's get this little bugger out. Beautiful. Okay, yeah, it looks like a reasonably sized, bar. It looks a little bit bigger than the last copper bar that I poured, but this one being tinned copper, it's just going to be interesting to see how it comes out, whether it's going to be still looking like tin, or if it's actually going to be mixed in, and most likely it's going to be a copper color. Okay, a little bit rough on the top, but still I'm getting there. Might be a little bit of borax on there too. Let's cool it down. Ready for this? Yeah, awesome. Oh yeah, a lot of the borax just sort of came off pretty much straight away. Alrighty. Might see if I can scrape off some of this. Alright. Well, that's nice. It's actually a quite an interesting colour. And yeah, the pour, the bar isn't too bad. I quite like it. I like the dimple here all the way through. That's very much like a like a genuine poured bar. And yeah, we've got a little bit of borax and stuff I can just chip off probably, but it looks pretty good. I'm quite happy with that. It's got a bit of layering here. Might have just cooled down a little bit as I was pouring. Yeah, not really sure, but maybe I did a slower pour. I just wanted to see what it looks like actually pouring. Maybe I could have done a little bit quicker, but beautiful. Now let's get the weight and see what see what we got here. Hopefully 1 kilo. Come on, baby, give me a kilo. Hey, let's go. The official weigh-in of our tinned copper bar. And when I say copper, I mean copper. You know, yeah, a lot of you American guys said to give me a hard time about the way, you know, we say copper. It's just Australian accent, you know, we say copper. We don't emphasize the ER. So if you want to hear copper in American way, I suppose it's copper, and but it sounds, you know, we just don't say it like that. So yeah, maybe after you hear copper a few more times, you'll get over it. Copper. Oh, look at that. Well, we only lost 10 grams. So it's it's 1 kilo and extra 15 grams just for a good measure. So awesome. So 1 kilo copper bar. Copper bar. Yeah. 1,015 grams. Beautiful. Coming up really nice. Just a little bit left to go. This one actually looks shinier than the first copper bar. The top really looks nice. Really looks like a authentic, you know, vintage kind of poured bar. Okay. Check that out. It's a beautiful copper shine on it. It's now this one was tinned copper, but you know, you could kind of class it as copper anyway because it's only a very small portion of tin. But I might still get it checked out and see the percentage. But if you can see the top with this little sort of like crater going through the center of it, it really looks like an authentic poured bar, and I suppose it is. And bar is another thing that I get a hard time with. You know, okay, it's not how do I say it? Bar. I don't know how you say bar, but it's a bar. We just don't accentuate the last letter, you know, like the R. It's just bar. But that's magic. I'm really impressed with this one too. And we'll just make sure that it still weighs over a kilo. $1,005. So polishing it up, we took off a little bit of the borax that was stuck on the top of it, and you know, and just the dirt and stuff. So we took off another 10 grams. So how's that? That's perfect. So 25 grams over 1 kilo was what I started off with this tinned copper. And so now we've still got a 1 kilo bar. 5 grams over is beautiful. Perfect. And look at that. That's awesome. Now if I can just get my other first poured bar to compare it. Okay, and that's my original copper poured bar with pure copper wire. Now you might have seen the video where I polished this up, and then after a few weeks it starts getting like a more chocolatey brown to it, and that's patina. So it's a natural thing that copper does. You know, if I left this out for like 30-40 years, it would start going green. But this is just it's just, you know, a natural patina that sort of covers the copper after a little while when it's exposed to air and so on, moisture. And so still got a bit of warmth to this. But yeah, that's the difference. The first bar I poured was 865 grams. So I've, you know, just a second copper pour, and I've, you know, certainly got it spot on now. A couple of you people recommended that I weigh my copper before I melt it, which I've, you know, as you saw, I did, and that's the best way to go about it. Just add a little bit more. So 10 and 5 grams over 1 kilo. Can't ask for any more spot on than that. So I just make sure that I go 25 grams, even 30 grams over if I have to clean it up a little bit. So really happy with that. Can't complain at all. So that's the difference. So this will turn into this color over time. After about 3 weeks, it should be a nice chocolatey brown. If I polish this up a little bit, you can see we start to get a bit of shine onto it again. So just depends. I prefer that my bars get this patina nice and even across it. They just look like genuine copper bars. So, but this one being tinned copper, I'm actually surprised that it's more like copper than tin. Obviously there still would be tin inside it, but it's because it's only tin plated, it's very, very small portion. But yeah, really happy, pretty excited. I'm going to pour a few more of these ones, that's for sure. And so this tinned copper wire, as you saw, comes out of televisions, old TVs. For those older scrappers that have been scrapping for a few years, probably have already built up a lot of this stuff. You get less for tinned copper when you sell it, so you might as well turn it into a copper bar and probably increase the value. But even if you don't, I mean, you're not going to get much more, or probably any more, from a scrapyard. But you know, you wouldn't sell a bar like this to a scrapyard. You would sell this to a collector that wants to stack copper. And you know, I mean, this bar here, it weighs 1 kilo. So here in Australia, it's worth about just under $6. But I wouldn't sell this for $6. If a collector wanted it, they would probably pay $15. You know, at least double of what it's worth in copper, but probably get $20 for this bar, because it's a hand copper poured bar. So you can't get, you know, much better for that. If you're a collector, that's how you'd want it. You don't want copper wire. A hand poured bar is as good as it gets. I really like it. Okay, well, keep scrapping, guys. Have fun, and I'll catch you with the next copper or metal pour.